Hello everybody, welcome back to Resin Bell. Today we're working on a Felix Felicis potion from the Miniverse Harry Potter potion capsule, as well as some DIYs from the Harry Potter universe that I think you'll love after potions class. So hit that like button and that subscribe button because we're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers and we're just almost there. And let's get crafty. Alright, so let's check our potions book, and there's a video on this on my channel to show you how to make your own for our ingredients and our recipe. So those are all of the ingredients. Then we crush our ingredients, we mix them into our resin, put our dry ingredients in our bottle, and pour our resin in, cure, decorate, and we have our liquid luck. So let's get started. Alright, we've got all of these wonderful, beautiful little potion ingredients here that we're supposed to crush inside of our most excellently designed little gold mortar and pestle. Super cute. I love it. So let's put some of those in. Oh. Look how gold and sparkly that is. It's so golden. So they look white, but they're going to transform into magic powder. Probably enough. I don't want to use too much of this stuff. I don't want it to be opaque. All right. So next thing we need to do is pour stir that and see what it looks like before I add more. Gold flecks. Oh my goodness. So good. I think I might add a little bit more. I'll just go for really gold. Okay, and here is our gorgeous liquid luck. Did I say it's gorgeous? It's absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely adore this little stand that they created. It's got some little wood texture and some scuff marks and the little, brass gold fittings and things. How this bottle snaps in and out. I am here for it. The detail of the end, everything about this is just absolutely on point, and good job, Miniverse. Once again, you knocked it out of the park. All right, so Next thing I need to do is add my little gold luck shavings. And I absolutely love this type of bottle with the little clear finial. It's just magical the way they did these. I love it. So good. Some earrings. I really can just put them in straight, but I wonder if they can crinkle. They're just straight. It looks like they're just going to be straight. Come on, luck. Get in there. I need a little luck to get my luck in. As it is, I'm not having very good luck. I'm spilling things and knocking things over and alright, let's get some more of these out. And now we'll put this in and we'll pour our delicious, wonderful looking liquid luck potion in. Looks so good. So good. All right, I'm going to cure that. Okay guys, I am loving this potion. Oh my gosh. You can tell by the little heart on there. I love it so much. Look at all that amazing, amazing gold sparkle in there, and you can see those little strands of luck in there. Oh my gosh, it's just so stinking cute. Look at that gorgeous shine and shimmer and sparkle. Oh my goodness, it's just so good. It's just so good, y'all. It's so good. All right, let's put our topper on, our stopper, and clean up our mess. And then we're going to move on to decorating. We get to decorate. We've got this wonderful gold cord and this great little punch out tag that goes on it. It's just going to be so beautiful. Look at that, gorgeous. It's very kind of metallic, shimmery gold, the way liquid luck should be. Oh my goodness, so good. Just stretching it to kind of get all those kinks out of it. And then this, just a punchy punch. My fingernail behind. You can also take your X-Acto knife and cut that out, and you won't end up with those little bumps on the side. I usually take some scissors and just cut them off really easy and quick. For now, I'm going to run that through pull this off of the stand and wrappy wrap. I'm going to run it underneath. So I wrap it and go under the tag. That gets it started for me. And then I'll do the same thing here. And wrappy wrap. And then tie. Okay, and there is our finished Liquid Luck potion. Oh my gosh, it's so adorable. I was super excited about this one. I just love how it holds its potion, and it's just so well thought out. I just absolutely love it. So very, very cool. All right, so I'm going to get the things put away from the potions class, and we'll move on to our awesome DIY for this week. We're going to be creating the portraits of Hogwarts to hang on the walls of potions class. So stay tuned for that. Okay guys, so for our DIY for this week, I figure we'll go ahead and try to make some portraits. A couple of portraits for the walls in Potions Classroom. I know that doesn't exactly go, but it's still like the Harry Potter universe, so I'm going to put a few portraits in the Potions Classroom, kind of on the outer walls. So what I have here is a thrifted book with lots of like portraits and pictures and all kinds of stuff in there that we can snag some pictures from. I've got a sanding stick, some wider, not the widest, but wider popsicle sticks, got some gold rub and buff, and I have some thick cardstock. I also have some art glitter glue, and we're going to make some little frames for our pictures. We're going to pick our pictures out, cut them out, make some frames for them, and hang them up in the Potions Classroom. So I hope you enjoy the tutorial. So I have already gone through and picked out some pictures that I thought would work. So I kind of like this one here. This is actually a painting of Pocahontas, which I thought was kind of cool, and lots of others as well that I can cut out. Kind of like this one, and I tried to find ones that were kind of, you know, painted. I like this one here. I thought that one was pretty, as well as this one down here. And then on the other side, I think it was the other side. Yes, this one here. Like this kind of esteemed looking fellow. But yeah, lots of different ones that can be used. So I'm going to cut those out and then we'll move on. Okay, so now I've got all of my various portraits here, and I just kind of have to decide what size I want them to be. I'm considering leaving this one big just because I like the scenery that goes with it. And yeah, so I just got to figure out what size I want them to be. Now, you don't have to make frames. You can buy frames already made. You could find some at a thrift store. You could buy them at the craft store. These are too small for what I need. So I'm not going to be using those, and I'm just going to make my own. But deciding what size I want the portraits to be and how much of the image I want to incorporate will determine what size my frame for them are. So, and that's what I'm going to do next, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so for this one I decided I want to do kind of like an oval for him and kind of get a little bit of his necktie in here. So I just traced around a glue bottle a circle, and then I just freehanded a little bit of a crescent shape to create my oval for the center. So I'm going to cut that out and then determine where I want it on there. So I'm going to show you a little trick. If you've got paper that's thin enough, you can put your shape behind it, and then you can move it around to kind of decide, you know, where you want your shape to be, how big, you know, the placement. And once you've got that figured out, you can turn it over and then trace around that and then cut your picture out. It's a easy little tip. Okay, so there I have my little oval cut out and ready to place on a little Bill Backer card. Now I have to figure out what I want to do with these. I almost want to leave this one like a great big portrait, you know, like huge, like maybe a password into the potions classroom. I don't know, something like that. Because I love all the details on the outside and the toe painting on the wall. It's just such a cool picture. I might cut it down just a little bit, maybe make it a little skinnier. Maybe that will be the door to the potions classroom. I think that'll be fun. Okay, so just so you know, this is like a really heavy cardstock, and it's actually poster board from the Dollar Tree. It is, you get, I think 6 sheets in a package for $1.25, and it's this larger size. And I love using this stuff. It's so handy, and it's just thick enough to make things stiff, and like, it's a really great product. All right, now I just have to glue these down. Now these I'm leaving just a little bit of an edge sticking out when I cut these down so that it's not right up next to the image. So I'm going to glue the rest down and then we'll move on. Okay, now I've got all of them cut out. The oval ones are going to be done differently, and this one's going to be done differently. And then these are all going to be done the same. So we'll work on these first and then we'll go on to those. Okay, there's that one. Now we have these pointy things here. I actually kind of like that. It kind of gives a little dimension to that. Look how cool that looks. I think I'm going to keep that. I was going to cut it just straight off. If you don't like that, you can cut it straight off. We're going to paint it anyway, so you won't see it. But I kind of like how that looks. It's kind of cool, actually. I'm going to stick a little piece of board, not board, paper on the corners here, just to kind of give them some stability and cover up, make everything meet up right. Super easy to change that up however you need to do it. Just a little bit of stability here so the corners are nice and level. This is how I craft, y'all, by the seat of my pants. You're along for the ride. You probably thought you were going to get a concise and coherent tutorial today, and I'm here to tell you that is probably not the case. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But we're going to get something that's workable. I think that looks great. And I do kind of like that cool, fun detail there. So it's kind of got this little thing there. So cool. We'll move on to this one. Let's do it. Okay, so there's that one, and that one turned out all right. And now I have to work on this one, and this one is actually too big to do the mitered corners, so I'm just going to cut these off straight so that I can get all 4 sides. And now that other one, I'm gonna have to figure out something else because that's a lot bigger. goes there, put that one there, and frame to frame. Now we just gotta have to glue it on. Perfect. Okay, now I'm just taking some of my scrap pieces and I cut them all down to the same length, and I think this is going to be a fun way to kind of add a little bit of visual interest to the frame and just kind of make it a little different. Just like so. So I'm going to glue those on, and that's going to give me a little something something there. And I've got some overkill clamps to hold these down just to make sure they're nice and flat on those corners, and it's going to lay flat. So I think that's going to look cool. Also, does that not make you think of Filch? Just a little bit. If this was a cat, would that be Filch? I've also decided to make this one a little bit more of a stylized frame. So I'm thinking like rounded corners. I'm just going to use this as a guide. Rounded corners. Yeah, something kind of like that, kind of like that little wavy type frame. Yeah, that might be fun. I have to get my Dremel out and go to town sanding that. You don't have to. You could just do, rounded corners if you wanted to with your nail file. Get a nice one of those with the really rough edges on the sides. I'm gonna clamp that edge so that you're not, breaking apart your frame, but I mean, you can round your edges pretty easy and quick. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that with my Dremel. I'll use my Dremel sanding bit and just get into those recesses a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll look cool. Okay, so I just used my little Tack Life Dremel tool and just buzzed them out really fast. It took me like 4 or 5 minutes. Pretty simple. And now I'm just going to go over the edges with the fine portion, because that's an 80 grit sanding wheel, so it's pretty rough. Just going to go through and knock down these edges a little bit. Okay, so now I have just traced these onto some cardstock and then drew in a line a little bit farther in to create a little frame. And then this one I did the same thing, only I drew a little bit of design on the top and bottom to give it a little bit different shape. And that one's gonna look like that. And then I also did the same thing for the tall one and just created a little frame to go on top, just like that. So I'm gonna glue those on and then we'll move on. Alright, so now what we gotta do is I'm gonna take my art glitter glue. You can use, Elmer's school glue. You can use any kind of glue you want. If you want to do some big ones, you could use even hot glue for like big frames. But we're just gonna draw some designs on. With our glue. Okay, so I finally got all these done, and that took a little bit of time trying to decide what I was going to draw on each one, but Each one has its own little design now, and I just gotta wait for that to dry completely, and then we can move on. So I'm really excited about how these are gonna turn out. I probably won't have room for all of them, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish them all anyway. Okay, I think these are mostly dry now, so I'm just gonna grab a little old paintbrush and some of the Rub and Buff, gold Rub and Buff. I'm gonna go start painting this on. Oh, I like that one. That one turned out really cool. Check that out. Very, very cool. Love it. All right, move on to this one. There's that one. Now think about if he had round glasses on, it would be vintage Harry. Alright, so there's those, and I'm really excited to get this one painted. I think it's got some really cool details. I'm considering, I think I should probably paint these black first, because I like how black kind of shows through and makes that gold pop. So I think that's what I'm going to do real quick. I mean, I can go ahead and do this one first. Okay, so I got these painted black, and then I'm just adding the Rub and Buff. This Rub and Buff is going to be your best friend if you like making, you know, kind of ritzy miniatures. This little tube is probably around, I don't know, $8 or $9, and it will last you for years and years and years. You literally just need to rub a tiny bit on your finger, and it just does so much. It gives you so much detail, especially when you're using like glue, especially a fine point glue. You can draw on your details, and then this just brings everything out and kind of gives it that glow of kind of, you know, old ritzy glow. Your little glue details don't have to be like super precise, you know. It really, especially with miniatures, it really just makes the more little spots and details you add, the more it adds to it. Like, I mean, you can look at my lines, they're not fancy, they're not precise. I just kind of drew on and then, you know, put a little dash here, a little dot there, a little star there, a little squiggle there, you know. They're not exactly matchy-matchy, but if you look at an antique frame, they're not matchy-matchy either. Like, a lot of times it was just either hand-carved to match a pattern, or it was molded, and the molds maybe didn't always line up perfectly, or, you know, there's like, they had a very handmade look to them. Like, if you look closely, and you can tell that they were made by hand, and that was a good thing. It still is a good thing, and, you know, kind of adds that bit of craftsmanship. You know, somebody made that with their hands. It wasn't made by a machine. It wasn't, pressed out. Not every single one is exactly the same. And, you know, that's awesome, I think. Here we go. I think those turned out pretty cool. See, I tried to do some like little wands with magic coming out of them, an H for Hogwarts. You know, just had a little fun with it. And yeah, I mean, I really love how these turned out. I love these little ones. Super easy, just cardstock, glue, and rub and buff, really. So easy to do. Just take a little bit of time to put on your details and stuff, but overall pretty cool. So I'm thinking we need to get some of these hung on the walls in the potions class. Let's do it. So one thing I did forget to go over, after the rub and buff dries, you're supposed to buff it. That's why you rub it on, let it dry, and then buff it. That's why it's called rub and buff. And after it's dry, you go over it with a soft cloth. Just go back and forth. And it makes it shine. It makes it just really gleam and shine. I mean, you can leave it like this. I know there's not a huge difference in this light, but in person, there is a pretty big difference. Like this part looks just the slightest bit dull, like aged, and you could leave it that way and it's not a problem. This side has some very good shine to it. It's just a lot more shiny and it pops. So it's up to you if you want to buff it or not, but I'm just doing a quick buff over those raised areas. And sometimes when you add glue and you add rub and buff, it might kind of wipe it away a little bit. You might decide that you want to add a little bit more. But for the most part, once it dries, it's pretty much there. Now you can, if you accidentally get some, like on something, probably not so much a printed piece, but like a solid piece like plastic or something like that, you can get it off with alcohol, but I wouldn't recommend it for this because the glue and the printing, all that will disintegrate with the alcohol. So just keep that in mind. Okay guys, I am just really having fun creating all of the little details for the classroom and all of our miniatures for Magical Miniature Monday. It's all really just kind of coming together to create an environment rather than just a few pieces. So thank you guys for watching, for sticking in there with me. We have a couple more potions. I think we have 2 potions left in this series, and so a couple more weeks, and hopefully the new ones will be coming out pretty soon. All right, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button and that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!